add, we're live. We don't want to add any more to, to the stress level. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining Jeff and I again, whether as you slowly come in as the notifications drop, or if you're watching this later on playback. Thank you for taking time to watch the video. Thank you for taking time to join us this evening on your Sunday. Um, as people can see, there's a new name to my channel. I finally went ahead and did the dive today. And I'm still kind of like, I don't know if it should be Soul Alchemy, with, Igea, or if I should just leave Indigo Jaguar. I'm still playing that along with it a little bit, just waiting to kind of get the feel, the energy, but I'm excited. So this is my first live, Jeff, and you're my first guest with the new channel.
Oh my God. I did notice that actually with the feels like a full organization with an acronym of your last name with this marriage of the new name, and there's something really
the idea came one day when somebody it was in I think Gerald's chat, someone, I don't know if Gerald or somebody was trying to say, and Jeffrey was there, and he just typed in Igea. Hey, how's it going? I'm like, well, that's kind of cool. So I'm playing around with the Igea or just going back with Indigo Jaguar. So well, hello, Miss Moonlight. Good to see you. She has joined us. Thank you for being here. And I'm getting little messages from Allison. So if people hear any ding, 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 she'll probably figure out at some point that I'm live. Maybe she'll pop in and say hi. So, yeah, poetry and tarot.
I bought the Lennies. I brought the Lennies tonight. So,
you brought some Lennies.
Yeah, what I'd like to do is when people, if they come and ask questions and we can do that, I'd like to probably draw like about 6 Lennies and then try to use the words off the Lennies based on which will be the foundation of the answer I give.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really looking forward to it.
Miss Moonlight, I haven't been to Amazon. There is a wish list there. I don't know how to post it.
Oh, I'll have to look at that.
Lenny Bruce. No, he means his Lenormands. But I figured for tonight, because of, I know you mentioning Mad Libs and things, so I just thought we would do something like in a way of general readings.
Okay.
And then
I'm game.
That way, whatever we want to do. And I know the last 2 times we've been doing our poetry and tarot, I've been trying to write a poem, from a card, giving readings. But
I know.
But you're very good at just kicking them out. So I'll just go ahead and I'll read from either the book or I'll do the read. And well, look, I told you we're going to have some people.
Oh my God, Hershey! Hi, Ginger Fake Tarot.
Hershey. And there is Ginger. Oh, she's got a headache. Well, girl, you've been doing a lot of lives, so you've been looking at that screen a lot. I've been getting a lot of migraines lately, not real bad ones, but I think it's a lot of, between the coffee and, working on the iPad and doing the lives and creating the streams, that really gets to your eyes after a while. Messes with you. So, but yes, I've been going over the last few weeks, been going through paperwork. Let me put my keyboard over here, and just going back and going through old papers of snippets and notebooks of poems and things that I've written. And I've got some, I'm going, 2017. Wow. And I'm like, So I've tossed out a couple that I wasn't too crazy for. I kind of consolidated them into one place, worked on some of them a little bit. But this is interesting what Jeff and I were talking about backstage. But I have a little Leonard Cohen quote here that I saved from my notes from my previous books. And it seems befitting, Jeff.
Oh, he's so good.
There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Yeah. Let that all sink in, everybody. And that's okay. This is a safe space. People are allowed to cry, express emotions. Jeff is, Jeff, is going through a lot right now. A lot of us are, with our personal lives, with the energy, with the planets, with what's going on in this, excuse my language. Well, it's nighttime now. What's going up in this fucked up country of ours, not mentioning the world globally. And every time you turn around, on the news, it's all this fear-based stuff. It's really hard these days for a lot of us to get our center, to find our center, to try to find some sort of sense of what's going on in the world, trying to figure out who we are in this world, and trying to be there for our loved ones. And sometimes, willing to give more of ourselves to our loved ones than being able to take care of ourselves first. But we need to come first. YouTube, work, family, friends, all of that has to come second when it comes, to our health. Um, I do too, Miss Moonlight. Also, Miss Moonlight hasn't been feeling good either. Oh, Miss Moon. See, like I said, a lot of us are going through a lot. And I like Lenormand too. I have a couple decks. There are so many on Etsy that are beautiful. It's just like, oh, good Lord, there's a witchy one. They call it the Black Witch, and I'm like, come on, why is it the Black Witch? The
And it's
pictures
a
are
popular
cool.
one, I think. Yeah.
There's black kitties on it. It's very, very cool. I may get that later this year. You feel good? Well, that's good. I'm glad. And sometimes all we have to do is cry. I mean, we can't keep repressing, all of this.
Plus, the
Um,
Pluto in Aquarius, I think, is making it harder.
for some signs, there now when I did my Friday show with
I have an
Allison,
Aquarius, yeah, somewhere in my
and it was
chart.
supposed to help with, it was supposed to be more positive for individuals with Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio.
And Scorpio.
And for me yesterday, when Pluto went into Aquarius, I had kind of forgotten about that for a moment. And yesterday, it was just like I just wanted to pick up my oil pastels, and I must have worked on like 5 or 6 different pieces. And it was just like it was just
Wow.
coming, and it was coming, and I'm like, you know what? I've been spending a lot of time working on channel and reading and
Hi, Michelle.
studying. I needed to, hey Michelle, I needed to, release. I think a lot of us need to release. Pluto is. I did a Zoom with some other readers the other day. Val from Illumination Portal. Her and Diana run them here and there, and I was partnered with Linda de Gonzalez, and she's learning Akashic. And when we were put into like separate rooms, I got to work with her, and it was like Pluto for both of us were very was very androgynous. There was no strong one male or one female, and for me, it just came out very almost like Black Moon Lilith. Almost, it was dark, but not in the bad way, like a negative dark. It was helping us balance the dark aspects of our or shadow aspects of our male and our female, and learning that when we are in that darkness, Jeff, that that's where we find some of our most what's the word, our our strength. That's where we find that we are the strongest. That's where we find that we are the most resilient. um a lot of us we're taught to be afraid of our shadows and of being strong. And yep, there's
Alice is
I
here.
thought she might pop in. Hey girl. And just tapping into that and knowing that you can go into that darkness for healing. And like Leonard Cohen said, there is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. So that Pluto's that reminder too. That watery. I think no, Aquarius isn't water. I think Aquarius is
Air.
air, which makes no sense to me. But
With
it's
aqua.
still.
It doesn't to me either. Yeah.
But it's air. Breathe. Move into that darkness. Remember to breathe. And it's kind of like that crack, that light, and knowing that it's a whole part of that rebirthing process. We are going to come out on that other end into a new life, into a stronger, we'll have more appreciation and understanding for our gifts. And sometimes our gifts can be as simple as the strength that we have, the resilience that we have. Um, Let me just say hello to a few people popping in. Hello, Jeffrey Thompson. You look new to me. Welcome. I've been getting a lot more subscribers, and there's Allison, and there's Amanda. Hello, Amanda. So, yeah, it's a very emotional night for us here. Silent Victory. Yeah, it's beautiful. Somebody near named Silent Victory. Okay, there we go. Another beautiful message. But the silent means that we still have to share our voices, but sometimes we find our strength in those silent moments. Hi, Dina. Hello,
Hi,
Book
Tina.
Bewitched.
Book Bewitched. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting people in, so this is nice. So for one of the poems that really stood out too that I wanted to share, and speaking about breathing, the pencil breathes across the paper in time with yours, a glissade which is stretching across cotton fiber threads of pressed pulp fashioned with water and thread hand bound, adage, past a shot, step of the cat, glissade, ballet definition, a movement, tip. Oh, wait a minute, I'm reading the definition instead of a poem. So basically, I guess I'm going to have to write that into a poem. The pencil breathes across the paper in time with yours, a glissade. And so that's I start. Well, everyone knows now what the definition of that is. But wow. Oh boy, here we go. This is what the poem. Okay, charcoal breathes in an adage across paper, aglow with dawn's soft light, casting shadows against itself. Vellum tooth devouring the black organic ash, fine charcoal thin, soft spoken, a ghost pale to its once former self. And then another one right after that I want to share. Then I'll let you share a few, Jeff. Replace my broken places with mosaic glass, allowing colored light to shine through like a prism, illuminating the black diamonds within my soul. Again, connecting in with what, you know, we're talking about and how this has come up. Yeah. So what do you have to share, my friend?
I do. I do.
And those last ones were from 2019. Wow.
Okay. Okay. This is called Again and Again. I've racked my brains so many times, wondering what became of that boy who, in letting go of little inhibitions, in releasing, in willing, in waiting over and over again, in intuition's innocence, still could never make up the difference to become a man, to risk everything of what seemed nothing, whistling as I smoked a cigarette, polluted by a habit of desire, make me suck wind over and over and over again. To me, as if it were nothing at all, whistling in the wind, becoming stifled by them. Once you were no longer there, it was neutral all over again. Yet the indifference not to know what we could have had took a backseat to the climate of time, which reigned as if it were the weather again and again. Yet when the patterns unwound, to the cool, I am once again vulnerable. And with the fear deferential to all, these are the ways I'm falling all over again and again, so much later, for someone too far too late to ever be true. it's still too late.
It's never too late. You had to have known I was going to say it's never.
I know.
Yes, hello, Rain. Yes, the name change. I'm still working on whether doing the Indigo Jaguar or doing with the IG. I'm still playing around with that. Thank you for being here. And Jeffrey is sharing. I have my health challenges following my car accident, seizures. It broke my back. Oh, man. But it didn't break me. I wish you all greatly improved health and well-being. And that's what I love, us sharing our stories here, supporting each other, encouraging each other, empowering. Miss Moonlight wants to know if you can read the part about the climate of time again. She says that was lovely.
To me, as if it were nothing at all, whistling in the wind, becoming stifled by all of them. Once you were no longer there, it was neutral all over again. Yet the indifference not to know what we could have been took a back seat to the climate of time, which reigned, and I do REIGNED, not RAINED, as if it were the weather again and again.
Beautiful. Well, Spiritual Rain liked it still.
I like it too because I wrote it.
I like the play. Well, yeah, you should like your own work. That's good. I have.
It's like something I cooked. I made it.
I have one here from 17, 11/11 of all days. And this one is, you fashioned me a bouquet of paper flowers, lit a candle, set them on fire, scattered the ashes within my hollowed out frame, strung my own hair strands around my breastbone, and plucked my heartstrings until I bled rubies into your glass. Wait a minute, I read that.
You read that,
didn't I? Before that one really is like keeps calling to me. I think I played with the words on it. I rewrote it a little bit. Something hadn't quite that's like for me, a lot of my poetry or my writing, creative writing, like my artwork, a lot of times it's like, is that finished? Yeah, maybe not. You go back, and I mean, I have paintings that I thought were done like 10 years ago or something, and I go back and I'm like, let's do this, let's do that. That's the line that caught in my mind too. So yes, a lot of a lot of positive feedback on that piece.
I think the word time might be in climate too. If you put TIME, yeah, it sounds good.
And thank you, Miss Moonlight. She says both of you are very talented.
Thank you, Miss Moonlight.
Well, it would be nice then if I read something that I didn't already write. I'm just going to kind of flip through and see what. Okay, there's that same one I rewrote. Okay, so it's in here twice. There was a song, a lyric I want to share. Sometimes certain lyrics pop out to me too, and I have to write them down. It was a song, like, was it Golgoth? Something like that. It was on the original soundtrack to the Crow movie that came out with Brandon Lee. And there was a line in one of the songs, and it was, "Help my body feel my soul." That has always stuck with me. I just read that line and I just get shivers. Help my body feel my soul. My breath is a drawn bow of wordless thought. My arrow I aim for the center of the paper, ink blooming into vague shapes, gasping for air from sunken pools within the cold press of cotton pulp. I like that one. So sometimes my poetry reflects my art as well. I'm playing with that. And Amanda is driving and listening. Oh, thank you. Safe driving. And then Jeffrey says, as an astrologer, trained by my mentor and ex for 15 years, I feel optimistic about Pluto's tentative foray into astrology. I'm about to go public. Well, congratulations, Jeffrey.
Congratulations, Jeffrey.
You know, this really is a good year, even though with everything going on, um, there is a stronger energy. I know a lot of people follow numerology, and even like for me, my life path number is 8, and I was told, well, this year is an 8 number too. So for a lot of different people, not just because their life path number might be 8, but just with, you know, all those major lunar eclipses and solar flares and everything that we're
Mm-hmm.
having, it really is going to push things to ahead at some point. But at the same time, there's going to be that underlying like currents, like, you know, when ice is like really thick on top of the water, but you know that water's still moving under there where things are, you know. And one of the phrases is pretty much going with the flow this year. And for me, my word, I usually don't do words, but for me this year is really about authenticity. um, just trying to be very clear, transparent about the channel, what I read, what I won't read on, what I'll accept, what I won't accept, and just being very clear and standing, you know, in my place. And because if I'm not being true and authentic to myself, then um, I'm just, you know, I don't want to create a false narrative. I don't want to be somebody that I'm not. Was there another poem that you wanted to share?
No, I'm good for now.
You didn't have another poem that you wanted to share?
Um, yeah, I can do one. I can do another one. Sure, I've got tons. Yeah, this one's called Detour. It's been on my page, but I'm throwing it in my next
Good
book.
night, Hershey. Go lay
Night,
down, sweetie.
Hershey. It's called Detour. This detour is a lesson, or at least I want it to be. We never got lost without reason. Even as well as everything status quo goes, you can't say that either road is better. Maybe anyway you'll go astray, maybe you already have. But wandering, as long as blood pumps through these veins, maybe this is my only compass, not to know.
Can you finish that? Can you reread that last line?
Mm-hmm. As long as blood pumps through these veins, maybe my only compass is not to know.
Maybe my only compass is not to know. Well, because the word compasses have been kind of like coming more into my periphery lately,
Mm-hmm.
guiding, you know, on certain new decks that I get, or if I look at an old deck, I'm like, oh, that's gorgeous. That's a compass. And so I've been noticing, and to me, those are, you know, those are signs.
And this one, I got one more. This
Oh,
one,
fine. Go ahead.
this one came from my channel when I was channeling. I forget what the context was, but I call it the channel, a rocket to heaven in secret between you and me. The life that we live is not a dream. Every color, every size of the rainbow, every little bit, every crossroads. Sometimes none of the work we do shows. I want to know something through you that I can be something I never was before. Someone who is in the affirmative, never casting aspersions, never making people feel negative, never wanting anything other than what it is to know how to be a ruler in a kingdom of my own creation without any rules, without any abominations, without any scripture, without any government, knowing that somewhere in the harbor lies someone in a boat who can take me to shore safely, not to somewhere remote.
Wow, very nice. And I'll have one more, then we can go and start because it'll be half hour. We can start with anybody wants a reading. So this one
Thank you,
here, I
Sheldon.
actually wrote um, almost a year ago, 1/18/23. So just a few days shy. Um, There's no title to it yet. A lot of times I just start to write, um, and see where the words come. Um, Lace patterns of steam stitched with my breath upon my bedroom window, a plate of glass that separates us from the chaos. I look for a map amongst water pearls and sheer folds of gray moonstone skies just out of my reach. And that was it.
I like
Sometimes they're long,
that.
sometimes they're short.
The transparency and the fragility of the glass.
Hmm.
I like that and how it sets it all up.
Yeah.
The vulnerability, the softness.
For me, my favorite part of it was lace patterns of steam stitched with my breath. I just sometimes, I fight to have anything come, and then there are times when something will just pop in, and I'll write a couple words, and next thing I know, and sometimes, or that's just it. Um, so yeah, I have lots and lots. One of these days, I have to put a book out. Um,
Yeah.
I have been saving a few. Oh, thank you, Dina. And Ginger says, wonderful poems tonight. And I just want to address a couple questions. Book Bewitched. I wonder if you really love it because you birthed it. My experience is that I'm more critical with my own creation. Oh, we were talking about how we love what we create. Sometimes there are things that I look back on and I'm like, ugh, no, time to time to get rid of. But there are other times when I look back and go, no, I need to save that piece. That piece shows something of a reflection of what I'm doing now. And so there are times when I'm looking,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's for me, it's a part of my soul at some point. And this Moonlight, have you ever thought of doing a book pairing your paints? Yes, many years. I have been thinking about that for many years. At some point, when I could figure stuff out without, because when you talk about techie and telling me I have to go, well, if you do this, then you got to print this out and you send it to this. For me, a lot of that, it just seems like lately I need a team.
You know, you would,
like Vogue fashion magazine or something. I need this person to do this thing. I need this
yeah.
person to do that thing. Let's come sit at the table in the morning, cup of coffee. Great, thanks. Do that for me.
But
no.
you know, that multimedia healing that you could do, Heather, like that multimedia arts healing that you could do. I mean, that's something I think only few people, like Annie Bear does it that way.
Hmm.
Um, you do it that way. That's brilliance, I think. I mean, it looks like it could be a lot of work, foundationally, just to get everything done. But if
Hmm.
you have the vision to do it, you always think the vision is easier to carry out than it is, but it's a lot of work. I bet it,
It
what goes,
is.
yeah,
I mean, you created your own book. So, you know, I mean, you have to go through Amazon. You probably had to type things up right
yeah,
to send them in. For a lot of that, for me, kicks in the anxiety. And I'm just like, oh, God. So, and it does take money too. Like the old saying, it takes money to make money. So I'm trying to take the money equation out of it and just sit with myself and say, okay, these are my goals that I would like to accomplish at some point along the way. And I'm just going to put it out to spirit that I'm sure that I trust that the right people will be brought into my path when the time is right for me to be able to manifest this, that I will get the help
hmm
where someone would say, well, I'm really good at photography here. Let me come over. Let's take some pictures. Okay. But I also know somebody who does layout. They can, you know what I mean? Just
hmm
to put that out there and see. Yeah, Rain. Yeah, I can use an intern also. Let's see. Miss Moonlight said, "I wonder if you really love it because." Oh, all right. Okay.
Oh, that's what you
Dina.
meant. Okay, I did.
Dina. I
I
used to
went
write
literally.
songs.
The okay.
Dina says, "I used to write songs. Have a book of them. Me too. When I was younger, always taking books out of the library. Going to the car catalog, going to the
Oh
library,
my God, the
looking
card
for my
catalog. I
books,
haven't heard that. In
and I would sit there and try to read books and try to understand what thesaurus and synonyms and because that's what I thought I was going to do when I was younger. I wanted to be a singer. I wanted to be a writer, and so but a lot of times, yeah, I still, I have some old ones, but not from some of them. I look at, okay, no, I'm not keeping these, but yeah, I've been doing writing, everything, especially writing, since I think I was at least 13 years old, maybe a little younger. So yeah, Miss Jeffrey here. I didn't want to miss this. I agree with you both, and thank you. I love your talents. Thank you.
Thank you,
I
Jeffrey.
appreciate your kind comments. What are your favorite poets or poems? I write poetry, but I really don't follow any poets. The one poet and poem that I have a book on Rumi. Rumi is, when I'm in the mood for Rumi, Rumi has a lot of beautiful work. So I do have a book by Rumi. For me, the poets are like the musicians I listen to, especially the women, Ani DeFranco, Tori Amos, Stevie Nicks writes beautiful work. There are even a lot of indie young men and women that have been, on the scene where every now and then I hear something extremely beautiful. There's a band called In the Valley Below, and they do a song called Hymnal, and the words and the music are just beautifully put. So it's not necessarily poems or poets, but writers who seem to kind of take from and just seem to create such beautiful magic with music. But when it comes to poems and a poet, for me, Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. I learned it and heard that poem when The Outsiders came out, and I read the book. And for me, that has always been one of my favorite poem when people ask me. So, what about you, Jeff?
For me, it's Robert Frost, Allen Ginsberg. Rap, there's one by the name of I think her name's Ravi Kapoor. She's contemporary.
Sounds
Um,
familiar.
uh, I'm trying to think. Walt Whitman and a couple by E. E. Cummings, but some of the E. E. Cummings work is a little bit obtuse and how I interpret it. Like it's not totally literal that you need to interpret it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's in the breadth of the language. It's hard to be. You have to be in the right frame of mind to slow down, I think, to read him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're
Yeah,
not, then it won't work. Yeah, Charles Bukowski and the
I was
books
gonna
on
say.
drinking. Yeah, like on drinking or whatever they're called. Those are really good. He's really, really good.
Ray loves Shakespeare and Poe. I did study too. There was only two classes I could take, and it was so embarrassing. But I was, I hate saying the teacher's favorite, but at the same time, it was validation of my talent that I had, where nobody else really, read my work or heard, my family was into any of that. I was single. I was with the single mom, and so for me to go in and have a teacher and help me craft something, and I wanted to work hard to improve and to make my teacher happy, to say, look, I am listening, I'm trying, and I still have most for my class from 93, and he would write words on it or he would draw pictures, and there were some that were like, nah, that I saved, and I would tack on it, and I laugh. Yeah, he didn't mince words.
People,
Amanda, oh my God, I love E. E. Cummings. Book Bewitched. I have to go. Thank you, dear. We're grateful for having you here
thank
too.
you.
Um, there was something too I shared. Um, no, those were old ones. Here, let me just unstar these comments because I already acknowledged them. I'm trying my best not to, because I know a lot of people. Yeah, I was, and it was off. But the thing too is that I was, bullied a lot, in school growing up. And for me, my writing, my art, my music classes, those were my outlets, And so, when I had a teacher take interest, or that was I that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to, you know, I don't know if it's proving or what, but I just wanted to do my best. And for me, I really respected a lot of my teachers, and without having really any friends, they were the ones that were showing me, some of them were showing me the kindness and attention, and of course I gravitated towards that.
And don't forget, people, that Nostradamus was a poet, I think.
Oh yeah, his quatrains.
Mm-hmm.
Dina, two roads diverged in a wood. Yeah. Oh, and Dina also, yes, another beautiful songwriter is Pink. She has, I know she works with other
She's good.
writers, but she has a lot of, especially when she wrote that song for her dad, who was a Vietnam veteran. There are a lot of stuff that she has written over the years that really moved me. Sometimes the tears. And another person, Amy Lee, there we go, Evanescence. Some of her, I mean, most of what she writes lyrically, it gives me shivers. And at times when certain songs, I can't help but I start to cry when I hear them. Paula Cole, um, not her first album, her second one that got her.
This
There was
fire.
all the call, yeah, This Fire, yep. She did a song called Mia on it, and there's a line in it that says, um, "I am I am on the bridge. I am crossing the water. I'm scared as hell, but I know there's something better." And just the way she sings it with such emotion, and it just for me too. Yeah, I'm walking on the bridge. I'm crossing the water, and I'm scared as hell, but I know there's something better. So certain, you know, to me, the poets, for me, that's my inspiration. And My Immortal by Evanescence 2 off their first album. The video alone, pairing with the lyrics, um, it's just incredible. Let's see what Rain said. I think we all write poetry and we may not know it. I'm sure if we took a look at our journals, diaries, we would see a lot of lovely poetry there, emotional and genuine and true words filled with definitely. We're always comparing ourselves, and we're always taught to compare ourselves to other and to compete with others. And if we were just, told to sit back and just, what's the word I'm looking for? Just accept ourselves for who we are and see the beauty that lies in everything that we do. Um, yeah, Maya Moore. So Eric Allison knows that song. Um, we would, but yeah, I mean, we're raised in a society where it's competition, gotta be better than others, and now even worse with social media. Thank God I'm not a young person nowadays with social media.
Yeah, I can't imagine
Being
raising
bullied.
a child or yeah.
Mm-mm. So I'm grateful. What you water grows. Yes, and let's see. Yes, that made it that much more special. I'm so glad. Well, yeah, it
Yeah.
didn't always work so well for me, and there were times when I wasn't, and I was shamed by teachers. It's really interesting. It's really quick. A story that I would love to share. Um, my sophomore year in high school, I had just had several years of teachers in art where it was about the expression, drawing, you know, listen to the projects being, all of this, all more about the expressionism of art. My sophomore year, my mom moved us again, and I had to change school districts. And the school district that I went to, the school that year was sophomore year for art, was a class where the teacher was very adamant that we understand how to read a ruler, that we knew how to properly do borders and cut our oh mat boards. And art, for me, I was not good with numbers. Every time I looked at it, the numbers would jumble. I couldn't figure. I couldn't. And the work I did was good work. I was a good artist, but he almost failed me several times because he said I shouldn't have to explain something more than once or twice to you. And with my health and stuff, it was a bad year. Sometimes he would make fun in front of the other students. I mean, it was a really rough year. talk about, and then of course too that year my cousin was hit and killed by a car, so it
Oh,
was a rough year. And the last semester of that year, he says, well, we're going to do an acrylic painting, pick a painting by an artist that you like, and that's your last project. And so of course, you know, I had heard of George O'Keeffe by then, so I picked one of her cabins and I painted and I turned it in, and didn't require, you know, a map board or cutting and measuring inches and things and stuff and whatnot. And he looked at it and he goes, no, he goes, maybe you should, you know, painting might be more your thing. And I asked him, I go, do you think I have what it takes to be an artist? And he told me, as a hobby, yes, maybe, but as professional, no.
oh my God.
So the
Oh,
following year,
Heather.
so the
Oh,
following year, no, this story really takes on a very interesting. I'll try not to keep everybody. So the next year, my mom moved again because of this relationship. So we had to move again. And she made it so that I went back to my alma mater. And I had Mr. Skamaka. And when I went into class that day, it was all T squares. It was all measuring. It was pretty much that class, except you don't do the art. You copy the things and
mhm.
you follow it. And I went right up to him and I said, I can't take your class. And he goes, why not? And I told him, this is what happened to me last year. I said, I tried, I couldn't. And he goes, listen, I don't care if I have to explain something to you 10,000 times. If that's what it takes for you to be able to understand and grasp this, then that's what we'll do. Go sit down. So by the end of that first semester, I had 100 average because he didn't care if I had to keep coming up. And with your project, if you went up and you handed in, nope, this is your grade. Why? Look at this, look at this, look at this. You can change it if you want, or you can leave it. I would go back. I would look where my mistakes was, and I would, you know. And of course, that class was difficult because I was being picked on and bullied really bad on that one too. But anywho, so um, going back now to do it, I probably wouldn't be able to. But he didn't care. He worked with me, and by the end of my senior year, I graduated with the art award for my class. And so I go to college, rough years too, trying to get there to get. I graduate with my degree. So 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I go into an exhibit at the local gallery. I'm standing there, my heart starts racing. I talk about having almost a panic attack, anxiety attack. Guess who was there? That
For
teacher,
real.
for
Um,
real. And I'm walking around, I'm looking at him and I'm saying, Heather, do you leave it alone? Do you say something? My heart is beating. And I go up to him and I said, Mr. Puffpath. That was his name.
that
Mr.
was his name?
His wife has some artwork there too. Really nice lady. And he's like, hi. And he goes, I go, you don't remember me. I know you won't remember me, but I was a student of yours way back in the day. And he goes, okay, how are you? I'm like, I'm good, but there's something I want to share with you. And he goes, okay. And I kept telling him, listen, this is not, I'm not wanting to make you feel bad, but this is something I have to share with you. And I told him what he did to me. And the look on it, the color just drained from his face. He says, no, I would never have done that to a student. And I said, Mr. Puffin, if you did that to me, I had so much going on in my life. I tried so hard in your class to make you happy. I go, and he's like, sweetheart. He goes, I am so sorry. And I said, I don't want you to feel bad, but I just want to let you know that after that year, I worked really hard. I graduated from my high school class with the top art award. I said, I went to college. I've got a degree in fine arts and painting. I said, I did that and I want to share that with you. And you know what he said to me? He goes, I'm so sorry. I don't remember saying that or doing that. And he goes, but you know what? I'm going to tell you right now. I'm proud of you. All those years, that hurt got healed right then and there in that very moment. He told me he was proud of me.
Oh my God.
So teachers really, I mean, I know teachers nowadays have a really tough job because you've got kids going to school with guns, beating up on teachers, you know, and then teachers turn around and beat up. I mean, it's a brutal system right now. But that healed that young girl, and the look on his face, he was truly sorry. He had no idea that he had done that. And I thought I didn't want him to cry. And they said, "Mr. Puffpath, I'm not here to hurt you. I just want to let you know that this is what I accomplished after you. I worked really hard." And then he says, "Well, I'm very proud of you." Closure. Mm-hmm. Who would have thought? This is going back to 1988. I wasn't even um, 18 yet. And this happened when I was about 50, 49, 50. So, yeah, it was a gift. Well, I share that story with you in private. Okay. But yeah. So, just being really mindful, you know, that's why, we just really need to raise these kids, you know. Um, and it's hard nowadays because there's so many parents who don't want their kids left behind. They don't want their kids
Or
to
they don't
feel
want them
less.
in arts. They don't want them in arts, or they want them to do science, math, and
That and just the point
the
of,
defunding of the arts and the
oh
yeah.
my goodness, yes. But at the same time, parents are telling their kids, "You're better. You're the best," and that's good to build up your child. But at the same time, you're getting into these things where your child is like, if they don't meet up to that, it's not. You know what I mean? There's just a really fine line nowadays about, and that's why kids, adults need creativity of some kind, because it does help with the stress. You can be a mathematician, a scientist, and not have hardly any talents in art, but if you can find, or teach a child just to, here, pick up an instrument and play around, or here, have a coloring book, even an adult, that greatly lowers stress. um it lowers your heart. I mean, it's so beneficial on all levels of well-being. Alrighty, my dear, I'm sorry I didn't get to your voice message. I will talk to you later. Yeah, we'll catch up tomorrow, sweetheart. Thank you. Give the fur babies my love. Give Scout a little scruff for me and Lulu. Lulu was my doggy's name. Her dog's name's Lulu. Um, so yeah, a lot of talking, I like to connect with my inner child and bust out the crayons. Yeah. My favorite ones tend to be a little more expensive than but you know what, Crayola. Oh, Dina, I got to show you a book. So everybody, I'm in my jammy, so don't mind me. But I came across this in Barnes and Noble last summer. Check it out. Crayola, a visual biography of the world's most famous crayon. And there are modern artists that use Crayolas in their art. They go through every color. They talked about the history. It's a wonderful book. So anybody, they talk about the individual colors. They talk about the history. And what was really cool about the owners, they gave back to the community. They actually created a neighborhood organic garden. And this is going back to late 1800s, early 1900s, when the business started picking up, and they were growing food on their piece of land and having people in the neighborhood come and take food, vegetables and stuff to help them, you know. So, I'm pretty sure that some of the people running these companies now may not, be as giving and kind, but and hopefully they are, maybe. But yeah, I thought that was really great. Early way of giving back to the community. So I've been downloading prints to color with pencils I have. Yep. I kind of went overboard too a few years ago and got a lot of color pencils, boot printers and the Crayolas, and then I got the Caran d'Ache and then the Prismacolors, and oh my God, you hit up any of these fine art websites and every type of pencil you see there, I pretty much have owned. So we are at 8:52. I don't know about individual readings, but Jeff, did you want to do maybe like a 2 or 3 card pull for the collective before we go?
Yeah, let's do that.
All righty. Like I said, it seems like the talking and the discussing, I like the shows how they progress organically. It's nice to have an idea, but I don't this is all about the soul and alchemy and working on our soul, what makes us happy, and how we can grow it and redefine it and process it and explore it and develop it.
Someone's getting pregnant.
Oh, hold on a second. Or pregnant with ideas.
Yeah. This could be about divine femininity and the possibilities for this year about what you're trying to do. I wasn't going to use Lenny's unless we did readings, but since it was the deck I had closest to me, I just thought I'd pull those two, and I pulled those two for some reason. So if anybody's not knowing if they're pregnant for entertainment purposes only, you might be.
or pregnant with ideas.
Yeah.
It always has to mean an actual physical birth. And that's your offer? All right.
Yes.
Someone's getting pregnant. Not me, not this one. Oh, that
Heather, it's you.
It's all gone. Yep. And so I pull from the Healing Heart. That's called Writ to me, and it's interesting. One card is 15, 1 and 5 is 6, and the other card is 6.
Oh my God.
So the first one I have is the Healing Heart. Face your shadow and grow.
Oh.
There's the message again. Not being afraid.
There's some definite soul work and some shadow work there. I needed that.
We were discussing in the beginning.
I needed that.
And number 6, knowing heart. Heed your intuition. So everybody heed that intuition too. Intuitively listen to what your shadow is talking to you about. It's there to heal you. It's there to guide you. It's there for you to sleep within and plant seeds and to grow and to heal from. And this too, for what we were talking about, Jeff and I backstage, listening to your intuition, knowing that, if you know that if someone needs help, if you need help, if you feel something isn't right about a project, a person, a situation, or something within yourself, like, wait a minute, I've been like throwing up for the past couple of days. Maybe I should go to the doctor. Maybe I'm pregnant. I don't know. But just listen to your, I had to throw a little bit of humor in there. But so yeah, listen to your intuition and your shadow. There's a lot of healing that can be taking place in there. So everybody, thank you again for joining Jeff and I. Jeffrey, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for coming in. And everybody who has been here, sharing, listening, you are so much appreciated. Ooh, let me get me out of the big C here. There we go.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes. And Jeff, do you have anything coming up? Besides,
as of right now, no. All my downloads have been fulfilled.
Okay.
For now, yeah.
Tomorrow I will be doing Divine Feminine Goddess messages with Nancy, A Crone's Intuition. So she's going to be joining me on Mondays. Hopefully it'll be a regular. There may be days when we can't do it, but 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nancy of Crohn's Intuition. Also, go check out her channel as well. Wednesday, we will be doing another investigative tarot. Not for the faint of heart, especially in some cases, but just trying to find messages and answers and things for victims and their families, and trying to see what we know what's going on with certain cases that we get drawn to. Jackie's Crystal Moon. She just celebrated her 500th subscription. So way to go again, Jackie. She celebrated today. She joins me, she reads with me, and we'll be starting an hour earlier on Wednesdays now at noon, so that Allison can join us in between her picking up and taking the kids back and forth from school with the buses. Tuesday, Jonathan Daly will be joining me for spirit messages, and that'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be 10 a.m. Hawaiian time. And then Friday, Allison again and I on our Friday. So a little bit of a busy week. So it's nice. And again, please subscribe to Jeff if you don't know who Jeff is. He does Tarot Ask Backwards. He does political. He does poetry. And think that's where we will end it for tonight. I can't think of anything else I might have left out. So everybody, again, thank you for joining us, and we will see you on one of our other lives. Take care.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.